Good morning, everyone. It's about 10:30 and I've only just gotten up and I'm really tired and I wish I could just go back to sleep for another couple of hours. I decided to go to bed early last night. Wow, early for me anyway. I went to bed at about midnight, but I didn't actually manage to get to sleep for about an hour or so. So now I'm tired, but I've got to get up and got to get ready. So I've got 2 lectures this afternoon. They're not even that long lectures, only 2 hours each, but they're right after one another, so we only have enough time to have like 5 minutes break in between them. And the second one is not my favourite subject, but the first one is, so that's good. So yeah, I'm gonna get myself ready, have a coffee, then go learn some stuff about writing. So it's now 9 o'clock and I've had quite a nice day. I was really tired and groggy this morning when I got up and I kind of just wanted to stay in bed, but I got up, I had a coffee, I had a shower, and I instantly felt better. And I was ready to go off and do my lectures and start my day. And I got to my first lecture ridiculously early. I'm always early for things. I do it with everything. Interviews, lectures, catching a train or a plane journey, things like that, or even just going out to spend time with friends, like meeting up with them. I always end up being stupidly early, and it's because I'd rather be stupidly early than even 5 minutes late. So since I got there early, I joined another couple of my friends who were always there early as well, and I went to sit down on the floor in front of our classroom, because we do it every single time, every single day, because we have to wait for the class before us to finish. And it's not until I've actually sat down that I realise that the carpet's wet. It's obviously been cleaned or something, and no one else had noticed because they're all wearing jeans, but because it's a nice day I thought, hey, I'll wear a dress. So I've got tights on, which means that as soon as I sat down I got a wet leg, and I then had to spend the next 4 hours with a really damp left leg. But apart from that, I really enjoyed my lectures. We got to learn how much effort and time goes into writing tabletop role-playing games, which is one of our modules. It's one of the extra module I've chosen for next year is writing for role-playing games, and it's something that really interests me. Specifically the creation of fictional worlds and characters and environments and creatures and all that. I absolutely love it, and it's one of the reasons why I went into writing, as I said in my last video. And then in our fiction lecture, it was literally just us getting critiques and feedback on our work, which was really useful for me, because as of, well, before today, I was quite unsure of how I was going to continue my work and how I was going to write it so that I could get a good mark on it. But now that we've had some feedback from our classmates, it's really helped point me in the right direction, and I now know exactly what I'm doing. I now know exactly what I want to write and how I want to write it, so that I can hopefully get a good mark on it. Apart from that, we didn't really do much in our lectures, and I'm not surprised because there's only 3 weeks left and we're mainly concentrating on these last few pieces of work that we've got to get finished. One thing that happened in both of our lectures is our lecturers asked us how our first year at university has gone, and it's gone by really, really quickly. I thought I could talk about why I even chose to come to Edge Hill University and how my first year has gone, because it's all new to me. It's a new experience, and when I first applied to universities, I had no idea it would be like this. But when I was in that process of choosing universities, my decision depended solely on the university's reputation and how in-depth the course was that they had to offer. One thing that a lot of people tend to take into account, which didn't matter at all to me, was location. A lot of people, when applying, they tend to go for places that are closer to home, so that they don't have far to go during the holidays. But I moved out when I was 18, and I've been living away from home for the past 4 years now. So location was never an issue for me, and I ended up applying to 4 different universities that were miles away from each other. I applied to Edge Hill University, which is in Ormskirk, which is about half an hour north of Liverpool. I applied to Winchester University, I applied to Bangor University, which is in Wales, and I applied to Greenwich University. And I chose these because the creative writing courses they had to offer were amazing, and the universities themselves were absolutely beautiful. Winchester, Bangor and Greenwich are all very sort of old buildings, Victorian style, and I absolutely love that. I love old buildings and things like that. And Edge Hill University was sort of the opposite. It's very modern. There is a couple of old buildings like the library and the main building, but apart from that, all the other buildings are fairly new, so it's all sort of typical glass buildings with windows everywhere, but still as equally as beautiful. But there were specific reasons why in the end I chose Edge Hill. The first being that the writing course at Edge Hill offers a module that the others didn't. It's a new module, so it only started this year. Excuse me. And it's called world building, which is exactly what it sounds like. It's a module which teaches you how to create secondary worlds like Hyrule or Middle Earth or the magical world of Hogwarts and so on. And it's a fantastic module. It's my favourite module of the whole course. And our tutor on it is amazing. He teaches you all the things you want to learn. And he actually writes for the tabletop role-playing game Call of Cthulhu. So every single lecture we have with him, we always learn something new about creating worlds, and it's not until I came to university that I realised how much work goes into making a new world. Like, if you plan on writing a book, like I plan on writing a fantasy book, but before I can do that, I've got to think about everything, not just the characters involved in the story or anything like that. You've got to think about the whole world's environment, all of the cultures, politics, the religions, the economics, like, do they have money or is it chickens and sheep and all that? What's the environment like? And then if you're going to have a lot of characters, you have to have a character sheet for every single character you have. I only have 3 main characters in my story, but there are about 10 to 30 other characters that come in during the book that I've had to write a sheet for, because if you publish this book with all these new different environments and characters and races and religions and stuff, people are going to question it. No matter what, no matter how perfect it seems, someone is going to ask how this works. And you need to be able to explain that, which is why so much planning goes into building different worlds, and it just fascinates me. And that's why it's my favourite module, and it's why I came to this university. That's like probably the main reason. Another reason is that the campus is absolutely beautiful. There's 2 lakes on our campus. It's quite a big campus. Lakes doesn't seem to be the smartest thing to have when there's drunk students around, but nonetheless, they're gorgeous. And there's a lot of wildlife. So there's ducks, and at the moment there's geese, which are annoying as hell. But we also get rabbits. I get rabbits just outside my window pretty much every single day, and squirrels as well. And now and again I've seen hedgehogs going about as well. And now that it's come to spring and there's flowers everywhere, it's just gorgeous. I mean, like, I would much rather now go outside and sit down somewhere under a tree and write stuff than sit in my room. All of the buildings are amazing and beautiful, and they're modern without being too modern, if that makes sense. They're really nice and elegant, including the accommodation buildings as well. Most of the accommodation buildings are new. There are some older ones, but most of them are new, and they're amazing. I mean, my room is quite big, considering the fact that it's supposed to just be a student room. I mean, I've got room for my bike in the corner of the room, and there's room for me to do a workout in here. That's how much space there is. And there's there's loads of storage under my bed. There's loads of storage above my wardrobe, which is fantastic, because it means that there's not things gathering up in the corner of the room. Some of the rooms have ensuite bathrooms. As well as that, most of them, or I think possibly even all of them, come with a computer to use, with a big screen. I mean, my screen, it's massive, and the computer's great because you can install whatever you want. You can even install your games onto it if you want, and it's just great for doing work as well. And the rooms also come with a mini fridge as well. There's a mini fridge in the bottom of my wardrobe, which is fantastic because the fridges in the kitchen aren't massive. They're quite small, and it means that things that you might not be able to fit in there, you can fit in your fridge in your room. So it's perfect. Everything is in walking distance around here. There's a free bus that goes into town every 15 minutes, or you could just walk. Most of the time I walk, especially if there's a lot of traffic. It's actually better to walk, it's quicker to walk, because otherwise you're just sat in traffic. There's a shop on the campus. Well, there's 2 shops. There's one shop which is McColl's, which isn't exactly student friendly, and by what I mean by that is that the prices can be quite high, depending on what you're buying. But there's also a uni shop just across from that where everything is ridiculously cheap. They had an offer once, a couple of months ago, 3 big bottles of Coke for £1. So obviously I got that, and it's great for like if sometimes you're finding that you're struggling a bit with money, then nothing is ever really expensive in there, and it's brilliant. There's also a Starbucks as well in the centre of the campus. It's not like a proper massive Starbucks. What it is, it's we have a like a cafeteria area, and it's just like a little round thing in the middle of the centre, and just with coffee. That's pretty much it. But still, it's Starbucks coffee. It does mean it is a little bit expensive, but it's great. And if you can't afford it, there are coffee machines in McColl's where it's a lot cheaper. As well as that, our library is amazing. It's 3 floors of every single book you could ever wish for. It's not just course books or anything like that. It's got loads and loads of books just for pleasure reading. Like, it's got all the Lord of the Rings in there. It's got all the Harry Potters as well. It's got pretty much every single book you'd ever need, which is fantastic. And it's open 24/7 to students. Me and a friend went in there once, and we stayed there until about 3 o'clock in the morning, just because we could, because we were doing our work, and it's a lovely environment to do your work in because it's quiet and there's loads of space to do your work in, and you can take out as many books as you want. At one point I had about 22 books out, and you don't really have to give them back, unless they've been reserved by someone else. You don't need to give the book back. You take them out originally for a 2-week loan, but every 2 weeks the university automatically renews your loan. So I've had a book for the whole year and I've not had to give it back, which is amazing because I really need that book. But if someone does reserve a book, then obviously you have to give it back in time. It also, this university won the Times University of the Year for 2014-15, and I'm not surprised because it is amazing. It has so many societies to offer as well. There's even a Harry Potter one, and a Doctor Who one, and a Disney one, and a musical theatre one, and an LGBT, and loads of sports ones, and you can even start your own society if you want. I started my own creative writing society, and I've also just started my own community, like community service sort of helping hand type society, which is fantastic. That you can just, all it takes is you just need 6 people to join, and then you can make your society. It's brilliant. But apart from it being beautiful and the course being great and it having so much to offer, I think the main reason I chose Edge Hill University was because out of all the ones I looked at, I thought I'd be getting the most out of my degree by attending this university, and I think I can say that that's exactly what I'm doing. Being here, I'm getting the most out of the subject that I've chosen to do, and I feel like at the end of my 3 years I'm going to know exactly where I am. Hopefully I'll probably have published a book by then. All of us usually say that a lot of students here end up publishing a book by the time they leave, which is fantastic. I just feel like by attending this university, I am well on my way to getting into the career that I really, really want. It's been a hectic year. It's been sort of up and down because everything is new. It's struggling to get to terms with how things work and why they work this way, and how you've got to like write assignments and hand them in and things like that, and how long you have to do them. But it's also been one of the best years of my life, because with this course I genuinely feel like I'm learning so much, and I'm well on my way to writing an interesting, compelling book that hopefully people will enjoy. And I don't think I'd be at this point in my life if I hadn't come to this specific university, or this specific course to be more precise, because it offers a range of different things. Like, you're not stuck to just doing one thing. I mean, you're treated individually depending on what sort of writing you want to do, which is brilliant and it's fantastic, and I'm so glad I came here, and I'm really, really looking forward to doing my second year and then doing my third year and then graduating. And hopefully the goal is to graduate with a first and publish a book, and the dream is obviously to become a famous author, but that probably won't happen. Thanks for watching, guys. I'm really sorry that my throat is all croaky, and I think I must be coming down with a cold or something. But anyway, thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe and like the video, and I hope you enjoyed it. And I will see you tomorrow for a new video.
Counting on different ideas, drifting away. Past and present, they don't matter.